Hello, welcome in everyone. I need to change the names actually. I knew I forgot something, but that's okay. It's late in the evening, it's prime time. We do things live as best we can. I am running the production and the tournament and the casting this next one and the one after that. So it's an interesting night tonight here on the Vodible Twitch channel as I try to change this to up. There we go. All set. Now we got the correct names, Nick Ambrozic and
there we go.
Mystic. And we got the game coming up in just a second. Another best of 3. That's going to be happening between SuRpLu5 Esports and Core Overflow. SuRpLu5 Esports, thank you again to Dylan for sponsoring not just the team, but also this broadcast for a little bit for some prizing. But also we have
I wouldn't worry too much about the Octavia. I think most people in the community have been accustomed to Octavia's idle animation, so they've changed their default character.
I did it again. I was muted when I switched
screen.
the game. That's the second time I've done this.
Oh, no worries.
Oh, but yeah, man. It's so good.
Octavia is such a fun character, or I should say fun character model, that people just love to pick her as the default characters, just seeing her bop around in the menu.
You know,
so
that
go in like that
makes a lot of sense, and that's probably what exactly happened here, because now looking at the actual draft, you're seeing Drakar, you're seeing Asher, you're seeing Barcode Dubu yet again, and yeah, at this point it is tradition for me to have myself muted on the first series that I come to cast on my own channel, but I mean, it's been a fun broadcast so far. We had like a little bit of a hiccup with some connection issues, one of the matches which delayed things a bit after that, but apart from that, we've had a good time here today. SuRpLu5 Esports, the number 3 seed, facing off against Core Overflow, the number 2 seed, waiting to face off against the number 1 seed. So all in all, kind of working out at the end of the day. I believe I switched those teams incorrectly, so my bad. We did have the correct teams, because Barcode is on SuRpLu5 Esports with Puffy and Joker. Elo Heaven, Megaverse, and Int Overflow coming in through that matchup that we just saw, a best of 3, the first lower bracket semi-best of 3 that we've had in Primetime Tuesdays, and it went the distance, Mystic.
It went all the way to the last game, and nearly the last
stacks
point.
On stacks
but immediately, Int Overflow, I don't even see who got taken out. Was that Puffy?
Yes,
I think
that was
so.
Puffy.
And I'm really a big fan of Megaverse's Rasmus, one of the few players who has been playing this pick for a while, even before he got buffed. And now, although I would say he got a little bit of a nerf in the goalie position due to the size training nerfs, which he loves to take all 3 of them if he can get his hands on. Regardless, he was able to get that win in the previous set.
Now already going into OT to start things off here as well, but 2 gold barriers up for the side of Core Overflow, and both of them down for SuRpLu5 Esports. Core Overflow, again, just hot off of that win, coming back after dropping the first game and got 2 in a row, went all the way to the final set and almost the final goal possible, but Elo Heaven, what a great read on that passing play.
Yeah, Elo Heaven just standing in the perfect spot, and then also Megaverse with the great pass. Everyone kind of just standing where they need to be there. And another thing I want to mention is Core Overflow, not only are they coming off the win, they were just playing. They have the momentum. Yep. They were on. They are not cold. You know, they're coming off hot.
That's also why we wanted to try and get into things as quickly as possible. Don't want this to go too late into the evening. Again, each week we try to experiment a little bit with the bracket, as this is my first time running some events for Omega Strikers. We just had the Grand Finals winners and lower finals best of 3 last go around and only had 19 teams. This go around, 27 signed up, but only 26 showed up because, again, there was a little bit of a sickness for one of the teams, so hopefully they feel a bit better, but hopefully the defense feels a bit better for SuRpLu5 Esports here. Int Overflow getting this one.
Megaverse was insane there. This man, he knew the timing on when Int Overflow was going to come back up. He stood back, stalled to stall the timer as much as he could, and then when he was like, okay, there's about 3 seconds left on the respawn, I'm simply going to walk up and play forward with my core flip. Broke both of the barriers himself, and then Int Overflow was there to secure the point. So great awareness of when your character or when your teammates are going to be up and how to utilize that to your advantage.
That's going to be such a huge thing for communication here, and already the first 3 goals go the way of Core Overflow. They didn't make it into the money last go-around. They were denied access into those lower semis, had to play some great teams that made it all the way there after getting upset last go-around, as they did this time. But looking at the Awakenings, what are we thinking?
I'm looking for anything size-related. Nothing size related for Megaverse to take. So Obstin for the hot shot. Dubu might go. I was gonna say he might go timeless, but it looks like the extra special is the choice for barcode. A little bit both of a deny and a good pickup himself.
More tofu
I think
walls.
that's Elo Heaven taking the stinger, because if that gets into Puffy's hands on the JoKer, it is over. You might as well say it over. So it's not the optimal choice for Elo Heaven, but it is a really good deny. So overall, I would say it's probably net positive for Core Overflow here on the advantageous draft.
One thing I want to note too is we barely even saw JoKer in the last Primetime Tuesday. We saw a little bit of it from Vaughn, of course, but for the most part, he wasn't really as prevalent on the forward side of things. But now JoKer seems to be a mainstay for a lot of these top teams who are competing. Any thoughts exactly on the way the meta has developed since then?
So just today, we got the micro patch nerfing Era, and although I wouldn't say it's enough to take Era out, I think there's this small, what do you call it when it's like a placebo effect? That's what I'm thinking of. So, you know, you got the nerf, people see the nerf, and they're just like, okay, let's try some other stuff out. And JoKer has been a top contender for best midfield player, and Int Overflow, wonderful point there, using his movement speed, the elusive, not the elusive, but the cloak, to get himself into position and score on barcode. But going back to JoKer being super prevalent right now, JoKer has always been a good character. We've seen it been Vaughn getting banned out consistently, but one person who's been on screen a lot like just today, is Puffy, who I believe JoKer is his highest played. If not, like, Puffy is known for playing JoKer. This man climbed all the way to Omega with it, and it's not getting banned out from him, so might as well keep playing it.
Makes a lot of sense, and maybe they just don't want to target JoKer, because you can see from Int Overflow that they are also a big fan of JoKer. But that's what makes best of 3 so much better than best of 1, because you can adapt to your ban play style depending on how well some of these other teams have been playing. But if you pay attention to the tournament and some of the stream matches, you can also see what people are feeling good on. And right now, the team that is feeling the best is Core Overflow. They have not dropped a single goal to their opponents in SuRpLu5 Esports, who have been waiting in this lower bracket for about an hour and a half almost to get things going for this lower final.
I'm a really big fan of what Int Overflow just chose, or how to play out that energy burst over there. Rather than going for the potential shot on goal on the bottom side, he chooses to pass to Elo Heaven, who's sitting on the top, trusting that Elo Heaven would be able to push it in through his abilities, and that's how they're able to score that last point. And it just goes to show you that as we're getting higher up in the brackets, you can see the level of communication between the teams and the plays evolving more than these like solo queue-esque kind of like let me try to do this myself.
Yep.
There's so much passing, there's so much trust in, like, this is a better play if I give it to if they give the core to my teammate. And it's paying off.
Is always a good thing to do, especially at the high level of competition, when you know your placements, you know exactly where to be positioning wise, and cooldowns on abilities a lot of these players tend to call out as well and see how soon they might have it up, or if they don't have any cooldowns available, so that they can know to be bailed out. But Megaverse getting a KO there. Now it's going to be a 3-on-1 situation. Barcode barely holding on, looking to do whatever he can, but the Dubu stagger is non-existent in no way. He's going to get that. Looks like most of the cooldowns are also gone, but so was their Spirit. Now 2 quick 3-0s. In Overflow, Elo Heaven trying to see who could get the most goals and clear out this first game quickly.
Yeah, that was so insane. Immediately, we saw Megaverse get the kill using the Death Touch, yanking. I don't even know which one got killed from him.
Or Big Fish.
That is a really big pickup, but he's going to go for the Big Fish.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's interesting here because I think the Big Fish is a bigger deny because he doesn't want to give the stagger away to the enemy. The size is the same between both, but he's not going to be utilizing the 15% impact damage boost the best. So I think that's why he opted for Big Fish instead. We're going for infinite stagger swagger on the final 3 of the carousel. But it is Elo Heaven who chooses to, or sorry, Int Overflow who chooses to go for the Spark. I'm not sure, did he pick up a Spark earlier in the draft as well? Or is this his first
yes,
one?
It was in Overflow
Okay.
second Spark. They got the Spark of Agility, I believe, for their first round draft pick when it came out of the Awakenings draft the last go around. And already a KO on either side. Shout out to Streak as well, giving us some extra insight into these teams. Megaverse subbing in for him specifically, as both these teams are full-time teams, which is why you can kind of tell that the communication is on lock. They've been playing together for some time. They're in NASL. They're trying to do the best they can, and they are the best of the best. That's why they're seeded so highly and why they've been competing so well together and against each other, trading series back and back so far in the history of Omega Strikers since release. But now it's great to see the way that these two Asters are trying to zone things out from each other's side. And Megaverse just trying to hold on, even though there is still that 1 goal barrier up on the other end.
Yeah, you can see kind of the two goalies here are a little bit of a Titan-esque figure. They both have the pauldrons, plus... actually, I don't know if does barcode have pauldrons or not, but Megaverse...
No, he does not.
He does not. He's going the momentum. Ice skates. Joker with a great score there.
First one, too, for SuRpLu5 Esports. Joker getting that goal after 6 in a row from the other side for Core Overflow.
Using his core flip really well there, and just not choosing to hesitate at all or wait it out. He's like slam Q and then strike.
Sometimes that's all you got to do is just go for the strike, see if you can time it properly to be second, not first, because I don't know, the first worm typically gets the worm, but the second one is able to just dodge all the predators that are out there on the field that we are seeing. The way that Drar is just waiting to try and assassinate anyone who gets close to those edges. And as I say that, there goes the goalie. Dubu is gone. Barcode, no chance to try and redeem any abilities for their teammates to stay in this one. But even then, I mean, 3-on-2 situation, Joker is not phased.
Watch the way Joker has been handling the core this entire time. He's playing as if he's a midfielder. He got both, while barcode was fighting for his life back on his side. Joker got both barriers and is just walking around the whole field, just carrying the core around. Eventually, if this keeps up, he will score this goal.
He's
and
waiting
almost
for that
in position there. Almost in position there. Puffy just not able to finish it off with the shotgun. And it's Elo Heaven instead. Finds the opportunity to score on the top pocket.
I talked about these players that are the forwards for Core Overflow that are just trading out who's getting goals. First it was Elo, then Int Overflow, then Elo, then back to Int, Elo, Int, now back to Elo. They are trading and just waiting like, oh no, you get this next goal. Oh no, you get this next goal. They're basically both MVPs at this point for this team, but now they were able to tie things up and both barriers already down. A good comeback for Joker. Could not secure it that easily. A good pass to puffyfps, and there's a core flip that comes out and saves the day.
What great patience on Megaverse there, choosing on that first clear to not use or to not panic and use the core flip, and then on the second attack on him, that's when he needed it most and was able to save the goal. And look at how far he's walking up. He is not afraid.
No
he
fear.
knows how like where is the safe spot he can go and be able to return fast enough to protect the goal. And because of the extra size increase, he can provide so much more support there.
Oh man. Speaking of support, there was some support coming out from puffyfps to try and save some room for barcode, who pushed up and tried to be a bit more aggro of a Dubu goalie. And we've seen that happen for the most part for anyone who played Dubu goalie. But we saw the synergy for the emote spam from Core Overflow. Love to see that. Love to see the core flip to tie things up yet again. A quick comeback from Puffy.
Through the Asher ultimate there, he saw the 3 simultaneous university emotes pop, and he was not phased in the slightest.
Oh man, a little bit too much of some flaunting there from Core Overflow, and it bit them in the butt spectacularly. puffyfps playing a great game so far, but can only do so much in a 2-on-1 situation. Core flip comes out to try and delay things a bit for Core Overflow to keep that pressure going on offense, and Megaverse just waiting patiently for any opportunity to strike, going in the midfield, trying to take that speed boost, yanking Joker to the other end to make it so that they can't do much on their hand. And look at the stagger bars. The goalie was gone. Joker and Puffy were at 0, but no KOs came out.
They're still in an advantageous situation here. Puffy able to recover back, though, I believe thanks to Stagger Swagger. And Megaverse, because he has that goal barrier behind him, he feels so comfortable walking up. And just because of those situations, typically you see something like this on the range goalies, but he's pulling it off on Rasmus.
Wow. And
Or
there
barcode.
goes the first game of this series. Not the way we expected. A 3-0 finish, only 2 goals for SuRpLu5 Esports. Again, maybe they just had to wait and they're waiting to warm up, and they did warm up towards the end there. Saw some signs of life, but the draft did not work. Dubu, not the greatest pick for barcode that go around, and like we saw from You Already Lose in the upper bracket, but looking at these stats, I mean, they kind of speak for themselves here, Mystic.
Yeah, barcode was getting really bullied on there. Unfortunately, Dubu does not have the cooldowns to protect himself the same way Atlas does. So the downside of him is you use those cooldowns, the tofu wall, the log comes out, and the stun. The cooldowns are so long that anyone can just walk up to you and start wailing on you. And if you remember, it was barcode who ended up getting built different instead of Big Fish, because that's what Megaverse opted to take in. If it was swapped, you might not see barcode actually get KO'd as many times as he did. So it goes back like so far into the draft and how like because of those decisions made like halfway through the round, it affects that third round as well.
Well, we'll see what happens with the draft this go around. Waiting for the teams to get ready to queue. Gave them the go ahead, so we'll be getting into this next one as quickly as we can. And that was the quickest first game of a best of 3 we have seen the entire night. We've had 3 so far to pull from, but that is the most dominant performance that Core Overflow have had all day. They have somehow awakened out of their stupor. The beast is here to feast on the competition. SuRpLu5 Esports might just be their final snack before making it into those grand finals. And oh my goodness, Oni Village yet again.
Oh, we're heading into Oni Village, but Core Overflow has the experience from just one match ago.
Yeah, that's very true. They played just 2 maps of it, by the way. This is the 3rd time Core Overflow have gotten Oni Village. And again, the names are flipped, but we'll fix those once we actually get into it. And it makes sense to ban Atlas on this map.
We have Megaverse Harvard on Rune right now. We don't know what the starting awakenings are, but it might be something creation-based that's having him opt in for this. We don't know until he locks in, but just the fact that he's hovering Rune, maybe he gave it a thought. But no, going for the signature Kai. We love to see it. Although as Rasmus has been putting in work, this is the character he is known for. And barcode choosing to continue with the Dubu, saying, I will not play a B tier character Kai. I will play Dubu. I'm putting on the skates. I am going.
Oh, that makes me so interested to see what these opening awakenings are. And we'll swap the world or the arena itself once we get into it, so we have the names on the correct sides. Again, you can see that bug with Juliet there. Juliet was banned by the side of SuRpLu5. And looking at the awakenings, well, we got all the bulk you need, and then also Deadeye, so it kind of makes sense for these teams.
So Deadeye and bulk upstart, it's going to be really important who ends up getting these awakenings like Peak Performance or Big Fish. They just get so much more synergistic value due to starting off with some of that stagger and that extra strength bonus too.
Overflow was just waiting for barcode to use some of his cooldowns, and barcode did not want to get baited out by that, because otherwise they wouldn't have much to work with. Just the 1 goal barrier and potentially some quick overcome plays by the other side, but the tofu wall kind of denied them the ability to clear it away from their half. Back into the midfield line it goes. Puffy down to the bottom corner, and Megaverse, I mean, they're sitting pretty. They got the 1 goal barrier. Got to see what Puffy can do with some of these speed boosts to get things going for their half.
One thing I want to point out here is Core Overflow is opting again while on Oni Village to go for, or to not opt in for a brawler at all. They're choosing to not go for the Era Mirror, not play X. Ooh, great point by Int Overflow. Just being in the right position. Just because from our spectator view, we don't see where Int Overflow goes at all when he hits the spacebar. So it's like object permanence for me too. He's out of my sight. I don't know where he is.
Neither does the defense.
But yeah, going back to the team composition here, typically the double kind of midfield role or the double range is seen as like a weaker composition, but because of the speed lanes you have on Oni Village here, you can really utilize your ranged abilities to break those barriers and be able to kind of run back and forth way too fast. And we saw success with it before. And Megaverse, was that the strike shot save, or was that an actual strike? I think that was the strike shot. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, it was a strike shot. That was
monster.
A crazy read from Megaverse. Joker was just dribbling and then had the core flip, had the angle, but just was not timed properly. And strike shot, I mean, that just goes to show how good it is as an early goalie gear to take, and Megaverse taking his time too on some of these original hits that are coming from his half, because doesn't want to go too early and be countered by some of the cooldowns from the other side. Int Overflow is now overflowing off the side of the arena in Oni Village. Now it's a 3-on-2 situation. Elo Heaven still keeping things going pretty consistently for this team, but Joker, great angle, great push, and great goal to tie it up.
Yeah, over there, Elo Heaven kind of stepping a little bit above where the boundaries are for him. He is not at that later stage yet. He doesn't have the awakenings or the stagger health to kind of be the aggressor at the moment. He'll get broken very quickly. So he has to, like, I believe he has to play back a little bit more and find those opportunities with the cloak in order to score in either a barrier, like break a barrier, or score that point. But he cannot do what he did last game yet until some new awakenings come into the play.
I'm excited to see what those new awakenings are as well, but then we go already another KO on the side of SuRpLu5 Esports. They are struggling to stay alive on the field, and there goes the invisibility. The stun is perfect onto Int Overflow to give them some room to work with for puffyfps to respawn, but doesn't matter after the shotgun blast from Int Overflow with the read. Barcode can't do anything from that angle.
And again, look at where Megaverse is standing. He is in their goal. He had the barrier up. He just chose to walk up because he knows that here's an aggressive play. While we have the man advantage, let me play the midfield role and make sure that Int Overflow gets the rebound so he doesn't have to walk back and can use his cooldowns aggressively on the goal. And that's what got them the point there. So I really like how these goalies are so aware of when they have the ability to walk up or not, because a lot of the times you'll see it in solo queue or in some of the lower ranked games here. If the goalie has the advantage, you have the man up. Sometimes you kind of just play a little bit scared because you're like, you know, my job is to be a goalie. I'm going to sit here and protect my barrier, and I'm not going to walk up. And you essentially give the enemy a chance to score.
Oh,
but Megaverse, again, he just knows the position. It wasn't enough there, but he caught that the first shot.
First shot with the core shot as well, or core strike, excuse me, and was able to get that strike shot. That's what it's called. I was able to get that one aside, and unfortunately it bounced off the closing goal barrier and put it in an odd spot for him to try and get that away. And Joker now has been the most consistent scorer on the side of SuRpLu5 Esports, whereas before we saw puffyfps be the MVP for them in that upper bracket grand final on the other side of things there. So Puffy, got to see what they can do to get involved. Maybe not feeling as confident with the awakenings we've seen from them so far. Joker doing a lot better there too, and Barcode struggling sometime for these placements of the cooldowns. And there we go, core flips galore, but it's not going to net on a goal just yet, as the one happens for puffyfps, but doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, all core flips gone. No one has it. Not enough. I didn't see Barcode strike there. I'm not sure. It might have still just been on cooldown from the previous strike. But yeah, like great placement from Elo Heaven there.
The rollout just happened, so he was in the cooldown
Might have been locked
of
in
the
animation.
rollout and locked into the animation. I've been there so many times as Dubu. I know that exact feeling. It hurts, but it's okay as we go into the awakenings. Hopefully they find something better. Hot shot for the Kai. Hit that core harder with all of those barrages. Makes a lot of sense there. Some extra stagger and size for the Asher on the other end of things for Core Overflow. And I mean, missile propulsion, that makes a lot of sense for Estelle.
Yeah, this is a pretty good pickup for SuRpLu5 here. Asher getting the big fish, and like I mentioned in the beginning, she has bulk up. So all of a sudden you have this extra size and power. You might start seeing a lot more KOs from Joker. It starts scaling pretty crazy, and if it's not this round, you'll see it next round for sure once he gets a little bit more levels. Already, take a look at Int Overflow. He's down to nearly nothing. If Joker decides to kind of change targets and go back, they definitely have the power now to KO.
Puffy going elusive there, just trying to stay alive a little bit longer, and there's not like Atten City that you can rely on some of those orbs. Could have gone for the one at the top, but there goes the Giga Blast, and there goes both barriers, and almost able to use that final special from Elo Heaven to close things out for that first goal, but all for naught. 3-on-2 situation, as you mentioned before, Megaverse pushing up, and at the perfect time, everyone involved in that goal.
Yeah, again, wonderful kind of like map awareness or understanding the situation that they are in. Press the advantage, right? Like you will not you will not win by simply defending forever. You must go up and score, and Megaverse knows that really well.
Projectile goalies make that so much easier to do as well, because Dubu, his it's so slow to use his dash to get to anywhere on the map, even if you have some of the speed boost abilities for him. And even if you use the speed boosts that are on the top and bottom of this arena, it doesn't really help too much when you're so far out. You don't have a eject button to really work with there either. We haven't seen that come out for a lot of these goalies so far today, even though it did get buffed a little bit during this recent micro patch just for some of the cooldown buff for the secondary. And there goes the last barrier for either side. Tofu Fortress helps a little bit here too, and there might be Megaverse just trying to bait out some of those abilities from Joker and puffyfps, but it's not working too far, so yet, as we have the blink from Elo Heaven, back into the other side, and the Giga Blast, a great angle, looking dangerous for either half, but it's still at a stalemate, it feels like.
It's a really dangerous time right now for Core Overflow. If you take a look, Joker just got his I was just about to mention, the energy burst there. Nearly all three of their members were like a hit or two away from getting the energy burst, which was eventually going to lead to a goal. But for the favor of SuRpLu5, they only needed Jokers, which means Barcode and Puffy can use theirs super aggressively to break some barriers here. We see Barcode use his, but no, it gets stuffed out, and it's the exact opposite of what we wanted to see here. Barcode using his energy burst to break his own barriers, essentially. Let's see if Puffy, with his, is able to kind of return the favor.
It's like trying to do a kickflip and then breaking both your ankles. That's what we saw happen there for a second. And even with the delay on the core towards their net, it seems like they might be delaying the inevitable unless they can get it to the other side and get that final goal barrier down. Does deny access for a second, but the primary from Estelle snipes it through. Nothing Barcode again could do there. And a great look from Elo Heaven this time. Both goals to them so far. Speaking of goals going to a specific player so far in this game and this series, this specific game, Joker has been the only one to score for the side of SuRpLu5 Esports, where usually puffyfps has been a bit more of a known force on the forward side of things.
It's almost as if like Puffy doesn't have the luxury of walking up, because the moment Megaverse clears, if there's no one back there to catch the pass, it's over for them. And look at how Megaverse defends. It feels like you cannot score on this guy unless it's like some miracle needs to happen for you to be able to score on Megaverse. And it's just so intimidating that, you know, maybe they're playing a little bit reluctantly. And again, they're almost a really good defense there, stopping the first one with the core flip, clearing down to the bottom, but Puffy was able to catch it. Either way, we're seeing an insane amount of goalie pressure coming out from Megaverse. And look at the level difference between him and Barcode.
8. He is the highest level striker on the field right now, and you mentioned it, Barcode 5 levels higher than him specifically. And with the way the pressure keeps going, every time we start things off, the first 2 goal barriers go down for the side of SuRpLu5 Esports. But that was a really quick comeback, the quickest we have seen. There goes the core flip, and then it's not going to net out for anything just yet. Elo Heaven trying to push forward, puffyfps with the shotgun blast, and also uses their special to just get some debuff on Elo Heaven for a moment and maybe give Joker some space. Joker's gotten every goal, almost gets it there, and finally puffyfps gets the shotgun blast and gets in the set to tie things up for this game.
Really good positioning from Puffy. It's hard to say there because Int Overflow trusts that Megaverse will clear. Maybe you need to come back there in that situation when you have the goal gates open and there are core flips available from SuRpLu5. You have to recognize that it's like, okay, this is a little bit of a harder defense. Come back and protect this one. But previously, it was working out just fine. And there it is. You got the trifecta on Joker. We have peak performance, bulk up, and big fish. All 3 stagger-related awakenings gone to him. He's going to be insanely fast. One of Asher's big issues right now
1.75 speed bonus. Oh my goodness.
Once we get the update in game,
it's gonna be nuts. 521 on that speed for an Asher is insane to see.
Yeah, exactly. The Asher will be moving, and that's like one of the biggest downsides to Asher is you're just slow, and you need a good midfielder to keep getting you the core to make those plays. Well, Puffy, you were mentioning before that it was Joker the one getting all the points, and all of a sudden, I think Puffy heard you.
Yeah, Puffy did hear. Puffy woke up, you know, came out of hibernation and was realizing that, oh, maybe I should put some caffeine in the system and make sure that we can get this in the bag to make it into that top 2. Guaranteed $105 if you get second place, $75 for the loser of this series for the $420 prize pool provided by Odyssey Interactive and Dylan SuRpLu5. Shout out to them as well for making this a possibility. Regardless, though, nice start for the side of SuRpLu5 Esports. The first time this entire series that they have gotten the opening goal in any of the sets, apart from the third set that we saw in game number 1, which was the first goal that they got after 6-0 performance in the first 2.
Yeah, it looks like winning this last round was a big momentum swing for them. Maybe they need a little pick-me-up. They've got that. The motivation is high again. Barcode's popping off on the defense here. Joker, although down, trusts his teammates to handle it while he's not there. And here we see again, although that particular play didn't lead to a point, the way they're positioned between Puffy and Joker, getting both the top and the bottom, gives Megaverse so little room to clear. He's able to clear one, but what do you do after that? Look at where Int Overflow and Elo Heaven are standing. Elo Heaven's trying to block the pass between Joker and Puffy, which is great, and that's what he should be doing. But Int Overflow, while the goal barriers are open like that, you cannot be playing as far up. You have to come back at least until you get a man advantage, and then you can do that. So again, here's where we're seeing the difference. We are walking so far up while the goal gates are open behind us. Int Overflow might get taken out before he gets a chance to use his core flip.
That makes it so difficult too. And speaking of the core flip, we see one come out from barcode. Int Overflow is trying to get the read on it, but Puffy is playing man-to-man coverage, just trying to deny any access to the core every time, trying to keep it away from them, going for some stuns, disrupting them as best as possible, leaving Joker and Elo having to go one-on-one. And I mean, an Asher with all this stagger is going to be difficult for an Estelle to really do anything, especially post-beta. From what we see, Estelle is a lot better back then, and Megaverse wastes the barrage a little bit too soon on the prediction. The core a bit slow, and there we go, the set win, the 3-0 from the side of SuRpLu5 Esports. Is this a comeback?
Yeah, really interesting there. Somewhat of a weird interaction with the Asher ultimate. There was like a double hit there that caused the typical core flip speed to get reduced significantly. So
that's interesting, yeah.
Megaverse had the timing on it, assuming it would have went the correct speed, but it worked out in the favor of Joker. And actually, I was going to bring this up. Joker gets built different on Infinite, which is another side training. He has big fish. He has every single side training possible that on a forward. All the stagger, all the speed. This is best in slot for Joker. You could not like handcraft something better. Maybe he has Primetime or something else.
2,369.
You give him like Unstoppable or Stagger Strike. I don't know if either of the two have already made it through the carousel or if they're on someone, but it is insane. This guy's going to be making all the barriers break and possibly scoring the goals at this point. If not, he can easily KO them if he lands any abilities on either of the forwards.
That is the biggest Asher I have seen in some time, but regardless of that, they are off the side of the arena. Almost saw a goal come out. Both barriers are down for the side of Core Overflow, and even with that initial piercing shot from Elo Heaven, got that second one down for the other half of SuRpLu5 Esports. Now into the midfield, things are slowed down a bit with that special from Int Overflow. Joker, even after the respawn, doing what they can to keep things aside. The rollout might have been mistimed, but a good recovery by barcode.
Yeah, doing a really good job, even though Joker was taken out with that insane amount of stagger. He comes back and he's already aggressing. Here we do see a situation where Int Overflow gets the pass from Megaverse because of his aggressive positioning. Doesn't work out in that situation, but now they get to walk up. You see Megaverse slowly crawling up. He trusts in his ability to catch those every single time. And he's just standing here he's just standing there as a midfield player rather than a goalie. But no, just barely misses it there. It's the shot from Puffy. Perfect angle going right above Megaverse. You see the strike there come out, but his hitbox is simply not big enough. He wasn't close enough to the core to catch it. Overall, I do like the play there. I wouldn't say that was incorrect on how they played it. It was just really good on Puffy's end.
Oh yeah, great read from Puffy to see that Megaverse was pushed up. Know that they used their strike shot early on, only had the barrage available, and really didn't have the best placement for it either. And there's only so much you can do with barrage because you have to have those individual shots from the barrage hit the core to make it go anywhere, especially when you're angling it. As we see another angle coming for Puffy, who is popping off 2 back-to-back with a shotgun blast this time. And now 1 away, potentially, from clutching out this game and going to yet another Game 3.
We're seeing the power of the Jakar shotgun. If like people aren't aware of what makes it so good, it's almost like an old... Oh, who just went off the map? It was Joker. The guy with the biggest stagger bar is gone.
They keep targeting Joker every time that they can off the riff. every time we have seen Joker be the first one to be KO'd, even with all the stagger, because they are putting everything into Joker. They know if Joker's down, there's not going to be as much to worry about on their defensive end, but Puffy has been stepping up to the plate a lot because of it.
Yeah, it's been working out really well for them. And Int Overflow uses the core flip right in front of barcode. It is not enough. They get it on the rebound, the final barrier. And Puffy's in a great position here to make a score. Joker's looking a little bit low. If they can clear this out, they can focus on getting rid of him again to get that man up and then convert that into a point because they desperately need it. If not, they're going to lose this game this round. And there it goes. Joker is gone. Elo Heaven with the adrenaline rush forces barcode to use the core flip, but they still have the man up. Megaverse taking a more aggressive position. Finally get the barrier. Let's see if they can turn this around.
Elo Heaven also has that core flip up, waiting to see for an opportunity to use it, but Joker trying to deny them any access. Overtime situation. KOs are going to be that much more deadly because the timer is extended. Good touch by Megaverse for the barrage, but Joker knew there was no chance that they could do anything, even with a strike shot perfectly timed, just because of the delay on that cooldown or the animation from it. So there we go. Joker and also puffyfps working perfectly in tandem to get that victory, to send another back-to-back best-of-3 to game number 3. And look at that MVP performance from Puffy. 8 goals/assists. The 120 redirects is like huge for them too. But look at Megaverse trying to do everything for this team as the goalie with 10k damage, 80 saves, and 200 redirects is nuts.
200 redirects is insane. He is constantly touching the core. You saw he was the highest level by like a landslide as the game was going on. But Puffy, he heard you through the screen. He heard you through the broadcast. The moment you said it's Joker making the plays, making the scores, Puffy turned it up.
Well, we are now tied 1-1. Final game decides who joins Trio Abusers in that grand final. Will it be a rematch for SuRpLu5 Esports, or will Core Overflow make their first grand final appearance in Primetime Tuesday history? I mean, there's only been 2 events, but it'd be great to see starting things up as best we can. Hopefully, no bugs. And Ant City seems to be the place that we're ending things off for the lower final. We'll see how this one goes down. Again, we'll change the names as we can get into the match. In Overflow, Elo Heaven, Megaverse on Core Overflow. And you can see the hovers. I mean, they're going for a run back of their specific comp. We'll see what the bans are going to be specifically.
Yeah, I believe they played this as well in their
Atlas
previous
and Juliet.
set.
We saw that happen last time too. Even on the Oni Village, again, that seems to be the targets. They want to target Atlas for barcode, and then Juliet, I guess, would be for, I would say that's Elo Heaven that they're targeting there.
I actually prefer the double. I think Estelle is really strong on Ant City, and I think the double midfielder play is really good here. So if I was SuRpLu5, I would actually choose not to ban the Juliet. I don't think Juliet performs as well here, or it takes like way more work to get the same amount of value. I'd rather see the Estelle ban, but actually, we're gonna see the comp change up a little bit. Oh, so it's because they're flipped.
Yeah,
so
it's because they're flipped. It's because they're flipped. And again, you have like the Juliet bug there for a second. So we'll flip things around as best we can. It did look a little bit confusing there, but again, it is press S. Look at the awakenings and bulk up again, but this time Super Surge available too.
The range on the Estelle jump is going to be massive. Oof. You can also get a lot of... that was an 8-second goal.
Overflow is mad and wants to win this one quickly like they did in the first game. Wow.
They're stepping up. We have Megaverse back on the Rasmus, who has been performing. His Rasmus, I'm not sure if he's dropped a game with the Rasmus yet, but it's been winning them every recent game so far.
Technically did that last one.
Did he win? I thought it was...
Yeah, he
won on the Rasmus and then lost on the Kai.
Oh, that's right. He lost on the Kai. You're correct. You're correct. That's on me. That's on me.
But regardless, we have comfort pits out here. Elo Heaven on the Asher with Int Overflow on Drakar. Int Overflow starting off really strong so far, and they immediately had a kill. Joker is still level 1, so just turned level 2 with the break of that barrier. It's going to be kind of tricky here, because Elo Heaven needs to be in that scoring position, but he is so far back. Either way, barcode clears up right back into Int Overflow, and Elo Heaven was standing perfectly onto that interception down to Puffy. Was able to rebound it and push it in.
Barcode on Kai doesn't seem as confident as some of the other goalies we have seen from them, and I think that's going to be the biggest difference maker here is can they come into the element, will puffyfps and Joker with their picks be able to change things up a little bit. And speaking of those picks, you were right actually with the change-ups that we saw. Instead of Joker being on the Asher, they're on the Estelle this go around. puffyfps still keeping the Joker going, same for Int Overflow. Elo Heaven with the Asher and the Megaverse, as you mentioned, on Rasmus, but the goal goes through. That's really quick there. Barcode, maybe a bit of a mistake. I didn't exactly see what happened. Did you, Mystic?
It was just so Barcode managed to strike it, but Int Overflow threw the Molten Bolt at a perfect time. He pretty much used it as as a strike war tool. Oof. And it hit immediately within a millisecond after Barcode's shot. Didn't give him enough time to core flip it. It just went immediately into the goal.
Yoki saying in chat, no shot that we're doubting Barcode. Well, I mean, after a 3-0 with Int Overflow doing all the finishing touches there with the Drakkar, I mean, it kind of makes sense from what we see. Missile propulsion also being taken too. Twin drive for the Estelle. I mean, surprised it lasted that long, but it makes sense because the speed boost is going to be so crucial, picking up those orbs that are available in Atten City.
The glass cannon for Barcode is a really big pickup, right? Just having that extra movement speed and the power helps with the Giga Blast kills. But we do see 2 pickup of Orb Ponderers, or which one is the speed one? Orb Dancer, because of it being on the infinite slot. So there could be some finicky shenanigans if we get the Share Awakening or the Orbs. The Orb Replicator.
Apparently, you already fell asleep waiting for that upper bracket, so we'll see what happens there. If both teams agree and that is an actual situation, then there could be a sub in just so that we can keep the competition going. Otherwise, it would be winner of this potentially just taking that. But either way, first goal after the first set, of course, going to Core Overflow as they are looking to take this. And it seems like it is a joke, but, you know, I never know with these things. It is kind of late.
It is. You know, Bells, if you're in the chat right now, I'm just saying put Vaughn on goalie. I'll step up to the plate, put me on midfield.
There we go.
It's simply too easy.
Mystic
Trust.
wanting a bit of that prize pool as well, but either way, we'll see what happens. Some updates for that. Just message me on the Discord so that we can get that squared away as well. As finally we see things tied up. We saw 4 goals back-to-back for the side of Core Overflow, but we see a bit more resistance this time from Puffy.
Yeah, kind of going back and forth a little bit now. SuRpLu5 Esports picking up the momentum slightly. They're not getting rolled over as much. And take a look at Elo Heaven. Immediate combo between Puffy and Barcode, putting him down to nearly nothing. But because it's Atten City, he's able to just pick up all the orbs, and he has the Orb Dancer. So it's just benefiting him, getting that much closer to 10. If he's, I don't think he's at 10 yet, but he is so much closer to it. Just every few seconds, he can pick up at least 3. He's at 4 right now. Yeah. But he's ahead of Puffy.
Woo. The core flip for the KO. Evens things up a little bit there for Joker too, and Elo Heaven and Megaverse both pushing up a bit too much, and that gives away that goal barrier. Not exactly what you wanted to see from Megaverse, but buys them enough time for that final player to come back on the field with Int Overflow. And now it's Elo Heaven and Int Overflow trying to push things up, but they can't save the day yet.
Oh,
with
the death touch just barely misses.
And Joker with the finish, I believe, with that primary too.
Yeah, really good primary from Joker. Seeing that it didn't manage to touch the death touch at all, and just securing it. I think it might have probably slid in either way, but finalizing it, good placement from him. And Megaverse walking a little bit too forward. Death touch doesn't go as far as you think on this map just because of how big it is. Sometimes you need the help of aerials just to get that little bit more distance, because it is considered a projectile and not a creation.
Oof. That was a great recovery there from Megaverse too, as it was just going straight to their goal. And that's a cool thing about Rasmus. Even if it's going behind you, the abilities of Rasmus you can use to just take it away with the pendulum or with the death touch and Dangerous position. Even with Elo Heaven and Overflow in the way of puffyfps, whenever you see them in the corner, has their cooldowns unlocked, that's where you are the most fearful. And there we see Joker pushing forward as well.
Megaverse doing, again, an amazing job of holding it down in a situation where, like, I personally think his teammates need to come back, but they have so much trust in him that they stay forward, just guarding that aggressive position. Oof. Oh, but Barcode walking up, getting the kill with a core flip. taking away all of Elo Heaven's stack on Dancer there, which is a huge deal because he was pretty close to 10 at that point. And yeah,
Rose Warp
converts to a kill with the super search. He jumped from midfield to get that point.
Wow. Perfect execution by Joker. Barcode took our slander personally to tie up the game. Now 1-1. We saw it go 3-0 for the first set. Now 3-1 this time. 3 back-to-back for these teams. It's going to come down to this Awakening draft. What are we thinking? Heavy impact for any Drakkar is a good pickup.
So the Orb Replicator can go to Elo Heaven here. I don't know if he's going to opt in to take it. So we actually get the deny from Barcode on the Orb Replicator so that Elo Heaven can't have it, which also opens up Orb Ponder later on this map. Asher doesn't really have much to take here. Opts in for the Monumentalist, which is all right. I don't think that's necessarily the best. I think I would have gone Spark of Agility or Rapid Fire there instead to get more opportunities for either KOs or just some more movement speed around the map.
I think it's more for Asher's Path Splitter. Their special is also technically a creation, so making that a bit bigger so that they can go for some KOs as well, but don't even need to. They just need to go for some core strikes and they get it through. What?
Yeah, no barrage on Barcode there, and without barrage, he's like a C-tier goalie. Barrage is what brings him up.
Oh man, calling Kai out in all Kai stands as they are nothing without their cooldowns. It seems like, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles, or the gold barrier crumbles in this instance, because there's only one of them on either side, and Puffy making it so that there's only 2 people on the side of Core Overflow that are available to stop their advancement. Joker hoping that one of the many orbs respawn so that they can get some stagger up, and now there goes down the cooldowns, and so does the barrier. puffyfps with some dribbling doesn't lead to a goal just yet.
Elo Heaven coming back, immediately utilizing the orbs that are up, manages to kind of stuff in that core flip from Puffy. Oof. What a great death touch from Megaverse, though, getting it right back down to Elo Heaven. Puffy got thrown into Megaverse. Megaverse is going to look for this kill here, just misses the angle that he gets sent at. But either way, Elo Heaven almost down to no health, breaks the barrier, follow that up with a core flip into a goal.
Elo staying alive is what got them that goal in this set. There was so many instances where Elo Heaven could have been knocked off the side, or maybe even gotten a KO onto Puffy earlier on with their half splitter, but didn't quite work out. They were able to stick through it, stay elusive a couple of times, and get that final barrier and also the goal. 2 back-to-back for Elo Heaven in this set. They're looking to come back strong after not the greatest showing in that second set.
Yeah, these orb dancers are really helping out here. He just picks one up and he gets to run around, escape free. And you saw the way Megaverse placed that death touch, blocking the angle from Joker. And there it is. That is the 3rd round.
We have Int Overflow getting the first 3 goals in this game. Then we saw Elo Heaven getting the 3 goals in this set. They're just trading it, but look, it is the illustrious Primetime in the lower final. I was waiting for it to pop at some point in time because, you know, there's only so many Awakenings that are out there.
Because Asher just simply needs size. So he's trading here. It's hard to say if that's correct or not.
Yeah.
If Puffy had something like Stinger, I don't think you can give him the Primetime. But I think with his current Awakenings, it's fine to go Big Fish on Asher. She really needs the size, otherwise it's just not enough stuffing tools. But now take a look at how big Elo Heaven is.
Oh my
Absolutely
goodness.
massive character.
We saw a massive Asher last on the other side, and look at how big that creation path splitter is with the Monumentalist. It's just taking up like a quarter of the field, it feels like, or the arena specifically, on Atten City. As both barriers down so quickly into this one, 12 seconds I believe it was on the timing. A good Giga Blast, and Barcode saved and bailed out by puffyfps, the secondary goalie, for a moment. Joker trying to push up, see if they can use their primary to just intercept or maybe go for some KOs off the side onto Elo Heaven, but with the pendulum getting it away for just enough time. Joker and the core flip, well, there we go, just shotgun blasting it through.
Yeah, he saw that the death touch went up. Megaverse was stuck in animation there, wasn't able to strike it. He just sent the straight through to him. And if we can make it one more round on the side of SuRpLu5 here, they will get access from Barcode to Orb Ponder, but they might not get that chance with how this round is going. Purposely waiting it out to get the KO, getting the ace, and then scoring the final point. We got a little bit of a purple ace there.
Oof.
Making sure he cleared out every single energy meter on the side of SuRpLu5 before moving forward.
Oh man, that's got to be unfortunate to face off against, and puffyfps having to go elusive that time, avoided the death touch, but just trying to see what they can do to keep that momentum going. That's a good Giga Blast to send off the other Asher on the opposite side, and Joker, a great sneaky play to take that past Megaverse.
Yeah, the Super Surge is so deceptive there, right? You forget like how far you can actually jump with it, and you don't expect the Estelle to be able to go like that. Typically, the Estelles will save their dashes for a defensive play or to confirm a kill. But when things like that happen, you get thrown off because you forget that she can actually just score points that way.
Oof. Yusuf comes out from Joker in the core flip too. It was an interesting position for Megaverse, but all three players are just in that top corner, waiting for anything to come through, wasting the cooldowns of their opponents, and just being in the perfect position to stop, even with the Rose Warps that have been so deadly from Joker. They aren't proven to be enough just yet to tie things up and send us to set 5.
Nice death touch from Megaverse, pulling puffyfps out of position a little bit. Elo Heaven manages to take him out, and he had full elusive there, or full energy burst, which is a huge tool that they could have used to finalize this round. But now giving Core Overflow a fighting chance again to wrap up everything right here.
Oh no, it's gotta hurt for Megaverse. Tried to use the death touch at the right time, but a little bit too delayed. Joker a bit too fast, delivering some sweet success for them to go to set 5, and it all comes down to this Awakening draft.
We're going to the final set once again.
It's 2 times in a row.
Best of 3, game 3, set 5.
Prime time, baby. And we're almost at midnight Eastern time.
This is where Core Overflow took it all the way before. I'm wondering if barcode is going to choose to go into Orb Ponder, but he doesn't opt in for it. Maybe if it was earlier in the Awakenings and he had time to stack it up all the way to 10, he might have gone for it because he has the Orb Replicator. And it does make a pretty big difference on Atom City when you have access to 3 orbs relatively easily. Having your 2 midfield range characters get their cooldowns constantly is a pretty big deal. So I'm surprised he doesn't go there, but he goes for the specialized, and immediately Joker with the Rose Warp again from midfield, jumping nearly to the top of the screen there, getting the perfect angle to redirect it onto the bottom pocket.
Joker with that twin drive too, so that they can use the Rose Warp as much as they want. It feels like with the cooldowns and the way things are working for this Estelle, and cooldowns have been the biggest issue with Estelle since they got nerfed from the beta into the full release. So nice that they get to have a better cooldown, but also 2 charges for it, and that seems to be the bread and butter for Joker so far as you see it come out yet again.
Really good defense against Joker from Megaverse here. A lot, like understanding how Estelle works and how she scores her goals, positioning really far back into the goal to wait out the ultimate there before striking back so he doesn't get stuffed. But that was the immediate core flip Rose pedal jump thing.
Rose Warp into the core flip. That was an insanely mechanical play. You have to time that perfectly as soon as you come out of that Rose Warp, and that was beautiful to see from Joker. The mechanical plays that Joker is pulling off are a masterclass here as they are trying to close things out. 1 goal away from making it into the upper bracket for the rematch. They were down in that first game, came back in the second one. Were down earlier on in this too. 3-0s that we saw in the sets, but they forced a set 5. They're looking to force the issue to make it into that upper bracket. They were the 3rd seed, trying to take down the 2nd seed. Joker, 1 final shot. Barcode getting denied access by Int Overflow. Megaverse barely able to get the save, and unfortunately there, not too much that the Estelle special can do.
Joker's fighting the entire team of Core Overflow, walking up. He doesn't even care that Puffy's gone. And they have to do something here on Core Overflow or it's over. But Megaverse, again, over and over again, he just keeps getting these saves that I promise you half the goalies in this tournament would have let go easily already.
Trying to do everything they can to keep this set going, to keep their dreams of top 2 alive for Core Overflow. And they do get 1 goal back. Still need 2 more to pull off what seemed like a very probable possibility at the beginning of this game. After winning confidently in that first one, then it was brought back from the brink in the second game. Now in game 3, One final shot to tie things up. We didn't get goal 5, set 5 before. Will we get there this time?
We're 1 point away from making that happen, but Puffy already breaking the goal barrier. He is only like a strike or two away from getting his own core flip here, and that could be the deciding factor of this entire set. So if they do not close this out with his push here, and Puffy manages to get it, but they managed to do it just in time. It's like you could see it building up. Puffy's just like, please get me it. One more strike. I need it, and I will finish the score. But
Here
now we're tied up.
Tied up, as you mentioned. Set 5, game 3. All comes down to this. The bear is already down. The elusive comes out with the core flip from puffyfps. Joker passes it down. puffyfps with the shotgun, waiting for the core flip from Joker again. Denied by Megaverse. You mentioned the saves has been spectacular so far. Barcode just needs to barrage away and pray that someone will save the day for them, but Elo Heaven almost saved the day for the other side. Core Overflow, Int Overflow gets the KO. Now there's only a 2-on-3 situation. Core flip comes out and the pass, and there goes the finish. It will be Core Overflow closing things out and flowing over top of SuRpLu5 Esports to make it into those grand finals.
Securing a top 2 placement there, and again, we saw this exact situation from the first match of game 1 of this set, where Int Overflow, or it was either Elo Heaven or Int Overflow, one of them had the core flip, and rather than choosing to go for the score themselves, they know that their teammate can put it in guaranteed, and they choose to pass it to their teammate. And again, the way they started that first game out earlier today, they ended off with this one. Great communication here, great teamwork, and
wow.
It's like, I hate to say, I wanted to bring it up when that first point happened, but as the goal gates were opening and Puffy had the core flip, so in this specific map at In City, the goal gates tend to open a little bit slower, and he was a little bit jumpy on pressing the Q. The goal gates weren't even open before he had got a chance to swing, and that could have been the deciding factor if he was just a little bit more patient there. But again, wonderful set. It was just like game 3 again, amazing performance from both teams. But it's like, what do you say? Like, to me, it's like Megaverse was the MVP. He held it down. Look at the redirects, the amount of saves he had. It's more than double
off like crazy
of what Barcode had.
Megaverse was trying to do everything for this team, and I'm happy for them that they were able to stick it out and get the victory there. SuRpLu5 Esports with their debut performance as a quote-unquote org with Dylan sponsoring them. I mean, got top 3. They were the 3rd seed. I'd say it mets out for them. $75 richer from that. And, well, we do have that sub situation figured out. So You Already Lose did have to go to sleep, probably has work early in the morning. This is, again, a Tuesday. So in the East Coast, people have other commitments that they have to pay attention to. So Gumi is the one who's coming in for You Already Lose on that side. I mean, what do you think about that sub in, Mystic?
Gumi, the famed West Coast bounty hunter, signature goalie, also known as Slagoo. This man is a menace. You're going to see emotes spammed on repeat. I know these guys are great friends as well, so they have that synergy already going. They don't have to worry too much about, hey, we're bringing in someone new to cover for us. So I'm sure the trust is there. I don't think, while You Already Lose is a phenomenal goalie, rank 1 goalie in NA, if not global, Gumi is not that far behind him.
Yeah.
So this is not a downgrade.
Gumi got second last time too, so it kind of makes sense that they'll have a similar level goalie there for them, but we'll see how things are going to go for these teams. We're going to be taking a quick break, and then after that, Max Foreman will be joining me for the final series of the day, the grand finals. No game advantage, just best of 3. Maybe we'll try out something else later on in the future, but thank you, Mystic, for joining us. Where can people find you as well before I send you away?
So my @ is right on screen for Twitter. That is @ Mystic_watch. It is the same thing for Twitch without the underscore. And if you're in any of the Omega Striker Discord, it is Mystic 8103.
There we go. So make sure to follow along with Mystic's journey there. We're going to be taking a quick break, our final break of Primetime Tuesday as we go into Wednesday in the East Coast. 12 p.m. doesn't matter. 12 a.m. about to be, as we get into our final series of the day. It is going to be Trio Abusers facing off against Core Overflow, the number 1 and 2 seeds, to see who takes the lion's share, $210 of this prize pool. We'll see you after this break.